Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and I'm finally back here with more posts and stories from Reddit. Nice guy is the term for men who sell themselves based on their supposed niceness. And they essentially coined this term themselves. You'll probably see it a few times today. Anyway, let's just get started with Nice Guys from Reddit. These posts come to us from Reddit Nice Guys. I think I come off as angry in my comments. I'm actually very laid back and kind in person. I'm not an asshole to women IRL. I treat them with all the respect they deserve. But from my experiences, being nice just gets you in the friend zone or ghosted. When I treat women like they're easily replaceable, they become obsessed with me. It's so dumb. In the past, when I would try to get into relationships and act like boyfriend material, I would get pushed away despite the girl liking me before that. Now that I don't give a shit about a connection or love, I treat them like they're dispensable, and it works. I don't know if I will marry with the state of our society's values. If I do, it's more about duty and having children than anything else. Yeah, he treats them with all the respect they deserve. None, apparently. What a nice guy. You know a post is going to be good when it starts with women my age. Women my age. I find it hard to believe that as a young, healthy, 20-year-old male with a stud-like build, I am typing this message. It seems that a whole younger generation of women and men have thrown themselves away. I have yet to come across a woman my age in the state of California that is not degenerate or involved in degenerate behaviors. I really wish you were like the old times before technology, before women had access to all the chads in the area, before women were offered 10 times more options than women offer men. What a time we live in where all the men who aren't perfect get cast aside in a corner for no one to be with. If I could just have some support from the community and feel any type of friendly love right now. I don't feel good, and I know this isn't an app for therapy. However, I am kindly asking because I don't want to see a therapist and I don't feel comfortable exposing these ideas I feel out in the open. This guy sounds like his hero is Elliot Roger. Plus, what woman would actually date a guy that uses the term Chad? Huge red flag. Yeah, it is a little weird to see Chad said in complete seriousness in the year of our Lord 2023. No one complains more about degeneracy than those who don't get invited to the party. That's true. Let's read a few relevant posts from the Wern. People with multiple sex partners feel dead inside because they are dead inside. Yeah, sure, keep telling yourself that. I hate that guys with cars get laid. Phytoplankton RIP. Wow, this is the color scheme to hell. I made Pokemon websites in grade school that looked better than this. Tell me again how we're supposed to win a revolution without liberating women from these dude bro idiots that treat them as just another opportunity to score and brag before moving on to the next. Liberating them, huh? Maybe you should just let the women do what they want. Anyway, enough of Lucas being jealous. Let's continue. Choose guys that are very likely to physically or emotionally hurt them, demean them in public, put them down when they gain a pound, tell them it's none of their business where they're going or whom they're with. Meanwhile, nice guys who would cherish a woman and love and respect her are held in the friend zone because they don't have that sullen attitude and or air of mystery. There are guys who would worship the ground their lady walked on, choose her over their friends, take her to church, and try hard to be the best husbands and dads they could be. Stay sober, bring home a paycheck, and then spend it wisely but also be generous. Talk openly about their feelings and fears. And more. But she wants the unwashed, swearing, potentially violent, unreliable guy. Until she doesn't, and then she goes crying to that man in the friend zone who has always been there for her. Not for love, though. Just for comfort until the next steamy silent guy shows up. Does this guy think he's above all this if he just uses scare quotes for friend zone? Because he's still sitting here using the word seriously to complain. I am very fortunate. I have a loving and faithful wife for 45 years. Of all the guys she could have had, she took me, a nerdy, not very sexy college guy who wanted to be a high school teacher. But I've seen many women that do what I have described, and the word baffles is absolutely appropriate. Here's one example. One was with a guy who said, "Get up an hour before I do. I can't stand the sight of you without makeup on." Another heard this, "You don't know how lucky you are to have me. Nobody else would ever want you." As a high school teacher, sometimes girls would ask me and I'd say, "You're all in love with the guys on the football team," when actually you should be looking at the physics club. Those guys are going to be so grateful for the attention they will fall over themselves to be the best boyfriends you could ever want, and someday they're going to make big salaries too. God, he makes it sound like everyone in the physics club are bound to be turbo virgins. Is that even likely? Does anyone really believe this is a 60-plus-year-old man talking to his female students about the friend zone and telling them they should stop dating football players? Ew, what kind of teacher gives children dating advice? This is such a cartoonish thing to write, I have trouble believing it was written by an adult. People who play sports can also be artists, academics, etc. Life is not a John Hughes movie. The nerdy guy isn't always nice or unpopular. The rich guy isn't always a preppy douche. The buff guy isn't always shallow and stupid. The musician isn't always a burnout. Why do these men act like their fantasies are reality? Obviously you can tell he's a teacher because he puts a semicolon in every paragraph like Christian or something. I'm calling on all men of good conscience to band together and go on a DM strike. If these narcissistic women want to ignore our messages and attempts to show them what it's like to be with the real men, okay then, let them live in misery alone with their cats, their colored hair, nose rings, weed, and huge dildos. We deserve better than to say hello, how are you doing 10 times with no reply. Men of good conscience, I like that one. I feel like any man with self-respect isn't going to send 10 messages in a row anyway. Imagine saying, hello, how are you doing 10 times with no reply and feeling like the other person is the problem. If I'm ever unfortunate enough to have a son, one thing's for sure. I'm gonna make sure they're conditioned to not have a soft, kind, weak personality like I do. They need to be sure of themselves and be brutally honest and be assholes to people, because that's what will actually get them places in life, especially with females and in the working world. Me being kind with a soft doormat personality and being gullible has definitely gotten me nowhere. It's such a hard thing to unlearn. The title says this guy's a cop, and here he is calling women females. I love how for these guys there's this binary of either being a total doormat or an asshole, and there's no in between. It's like they fail to see that that's their problem. They have such a lack of confidence that they believe confidence means being an asshole, so they just become an asshole. Who the fuck would Hug react to this? His mom and his aunt. I don't know if I should feel relieved that it's not women in his dating pool or grossed out that it's his relatives supporting his mentality and behavior. I'm 21 male, a college student, and currently live with 2 roommates, both girls. Through them I have met a larger group of people that I now hang out with all the time. One of them is an attractive girl, S, who is incredibly stuck up. She never makes eye contact with me. I might as well not exist in her universe. She doesn't talk to me unless I initiate. She doesn't look in my general direction unless others are with me. She doesn't even smile at me. I've seen her smile plenty with other people, particularly her female friends and this one dude who doesn't seem to be her type. I do not exist in her world. I find her behavior disrespectful, any way you spin it. On to the dilemma. A family member of mine owns a dessert lounge, and I often give my friends sweet treats. Recently I planned on bringing in some particular treats and made a note of everyone's preference. I didn't take S's preference since I didn't intend on giving her anything. Fast forward to the night. I started handing out an assortment of desserts and everyone got some, except for S. It is at this point that she made voluntary eye contact with me for the first time, which I found hilarious. Another girl offered to split her treat with her and S laughed and said it's fine. Everyone looked at me weirdly and more offered to split their treat with her, entirely ruining my plan. Hey, you know what this reminds me of? Elliot Roger having this elaborate 6th birthday party and inviting everyone in his class except for his nemesis, Joey, and feeling great satisfaction over it. He probably enjoyed that more than the party. So this guy has the same emotional maturity as a 6-year-old Saint Elliot. Not that Elliot ever grew out of it either. This guy pretty much made everyone else in the room feel uncomfortable doing this, so great friend he is. Afterwards she left early and later that night we texted for the very first time. I asked her what her problem was and she said there's no problem. Then she said it's a bit awkward to offer food to everyone except for one person. I told her that she's not entitled to anything and she shouldn't expect anything. To this she just replied that I'm right and said, "It's all good, have a nice evening." Didn't hear from her after this. Now everyone thinks I'm a major asshole for what I did. I've been described as petty and weird. I've been asked what exactly my problem is and why I would put her in such an awkward situation. I explained that S isn't entitled to anything, so I'm not sure how that makes me the asshole. My female roommates have also told me I'm an asshole and being short with me. So am I? He could have just said he didn't know it was awkward and looked like a moron instead of an asshole, but now he can't because his post made it really obvious he was just doing it out of spite. He even said it ruined his plan that people were willing to share with her. Sounds pretty damning. This was a revenge thing. OP purposely planned to get something nice for everyone and make sure to give it to them in front of her in an attempt to teach her some kind of lesson out of spite. But this is a shitty, petty thing to do and he is projecting his own issues onto her. I don't owe her anything, says the man complaining that she doesn't give him the attention he wants. The fact that he even texts her and asks her what her problem was when she didn't even do anything is hilarious. He was probably mad she didn't flip out on him over it, but he's still gonna ask Reddit if he did the right thing, I guess. Of course he texted her first. She was completely unfazed by childish behavior and still isn't giving him the time of day. Okay, you may think I'm weird, but here goes. Women are the hope in this world of lost and lonely men. No, it's not your job, but if somebody is asking for your beautiful smile, you could assume they're depressed and wanting a little light in their life by humbly asking you. Of course there are assholes in this world, but a woman's senses are almost never wrong, and men can feel it. Who do you go to when you want love? Your parents. If you don't have parents, who's your hope if you aren't religious? Probably a woman. Man, no one is asking women to smile because they're depressed. And if they were, how is that a random person's fucking problem? I don't even want to hear from a random stranger about their depression. Christ. You know what, man? It kinda sucks being single. Yeah, it was fun at first, but then you realize that you want someone to cuddle with and everything else, but no one wants you. That's what's depressing, even though you're trying your hardest to be with someone. That someone won't/doesn't want you. Then it ends up being that no one wants you as well, just because you're too nice of a guy. Well, I'm sorry that my parents taught me while growing to not be a bad guy and to show women respect and the love that they're looking for, but no one has ever let me do that for them. You know, it is possible to have physical contact with people when you're single. Guess not for this guy. There is no such thing as being too nice. There is such a thing as being too creepy, though. Most nice guys get the two confused. So I found out that the girl I fell in love with, yes, love, not some measly little crush, in high school, got engaged to the same guy who picked on me for 3 years back there. I guess it just goes to show that women will always pick douchebags over decent men. I'm making this post because I feel very strongly about this and I want to make my feeling known. I think it's frickin' ridiculous how life is so fucking cruel and heartless to good people, whilst the assholes of the world get praise and glory. I have to stand strong though, hence the selfie. I gotta try to have confidence, and even though I am hurt, I had to laugh when I messaged the guy and asked him to fight me, and he didn't even have the balls to respond, so I guess who's the real winner here? Haha. Yeah, the guy didn't respond because he feels like he's already won. I won't even read a message from a clown like this, let alone answer it. If a guy who had a thing for me messaged my boyfriend with fight me, he'd probably ignore his message and laugh for a few hours. Yeah, I think that would be the general response. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, make sure you let me hear it in the comments, because I'll be reading them while the video's new. If you're new here, consider subscribing in case I actually make some more content. Okay, so let's shout out my awesome patrons who support me more directly over on Patreon. It's a glorious new month and I need to get to work. Thanks so much. Jimmo, Ennui Blue, Levon, Maxo11X, MDB3000, Chris Sturman, Bumbus McDunga, Alberto 2001, Bethy Williams, Big Mike Shirley, Cacti Lady Wither, Cho, Daniel Della Penna, Don Smith, Deborah Douglas, Ouroboros, Sammy, Sandyman, V stands for, Wernology, William Ash, Zephyrin, Psychic Kumquat, Alex Anakin, Alan Fang, Cattails, Francois Tremblay, Knit1 Code 2, Lil Spoon, Ms. Mayhem, and Petulant Panda. Thanks once again. I'll be back soon here with more crap. I might just make a video called 12 solid minutes of Wern memes or something. I need to stop thinking so much. I might also stream again soon, we'll see. Anyway, have a great day everyone, and make sure you bring enough sweets for everyone at your social gatherings, even if people aren't entitled to them.